Amelia loved her vintage apartment. High ceilings, creaky floors, antique charm. But lately, something felt off. A prickling on her skin, a feeling of being watched. Shadows seemed to linger longer. Whispers seemed to hide in the silence. Fear, irrational yet potent, began to creep into her heart. One evening, as Amelia settled into her reading nook, she noticed it. A quick flash of movement from the corner of her eye. She whipped her head around, heart pounding, but found nothing. Just the old ornate wardrobe, its dark wood gleaming faintly in the lamplight. "Just your imagination," she muttered to herself, her voice trembling slightly. She tried to focus on her book, but the unsettling feeling persisted. She couldn't shake off the sensation of unseen eyes following her every move. Sleep that night was fitful, plagued by nightmares she couldn't quite recall. The next morning, Amelia tried to rationalize her fear. It was just the stress of her new job, the unfamiliarity of the city, yet a nagging doubt lingered in her mind. Something wasn't right. Days turned into a week, the unsettling feeling intensifying. The feeling of being watched intensified. She started noticing things out of place, a misplaced book, a moved picture frame. Her once beloved apartment now felt like a stranger, its familiar corners harboring unseen menace. Then came the tapping. It was a soft sound at first, barely audible, coming from the direction of the wardrobe. Tap, tap, tap. Amelia froze, her blood turning to ice. The sound was rhythmic, insistent, like tiny fingers drumming against the wood. Heart pounding, Amelia slowly approached the wardrobe. The tapping stopped. She cautiously opened the doors, expecting to find a trapped bird or a loose pipe, but the wardrobe was empty, its interior dark and silent. Closing the doors quickly, Amelia tried to convince herself it was just the old building settling. But deep down, a chilling certainty gripped her. She wasn't alone. The tapping from the wardrobe continued each night, always after she turned off the lights. Sleep became impossible. Fear was a constant companion. Then came the notes. At first, they were just scraps of paper tucked into corners, easily dismissed as trash. But the messages chilled Amelia to the bone. "Leave while you can," one read, scrawled in childish handwriting. Another simply said, "She's watching you." Amelia searched her apartment, desperately seeking a rational explanation. Was someone playing a cruel prank? Was she losing her mind? But the notes kept appearing, each one more unsettling than the last. Fear morphed into terror. Amelia was trapped in a nightmare, the line between reality and horror blurring with each passing moment. She needed to escape, to find help. But who would believe her? The tapping from the wardrobe escalated, growing louder, more insistent. Then, one terrifying night, a new sound joined the symphony of fear, a rhythmic thumping, coming from beneath her bed. Thump, thump, thump. It was slow, deliberate, like footsteps pacing back and forth in the darkness. Amelia lay frozen in terror, her breath caught in her throat. Her eyes darted to the bedside lamp, but she was too paralyzed to reach for it. Suddenly, a whisper, barely audible but chillingly clear, drifted from under the bed. "Amelia." Amelia couldn't breathe, couldn't scream. The whisper came again, closer this time. "Amelia, we want to play." The tapping, the thumping, the whispers, they were closing in, suffocating her with terror. Amelia knew she had to escape. Driven to the brink, Amelia called her landlord, her voice trembling. She poured out her story, the tapping, the notes, the whispers. To her surprise, the landlord didn't scoff. Instead, his voice dropped to a low, grave tone. "The girl," he muttered. "I hoped it wasn't true." He revealed a chilling story. Years ago, a family had lived in Amelia's apartment. Their daughter, a cheerful little girl, had vanished without a trace. Some whispered of a haunting, of a child's laughter echoing in the night. The landlord had dismissed it as rumors, but now he wasn't so sure. He promised to investigate, to call the police. But Amelia knew deep down that it was too late. She was already caught in the web of the unknown. Amelia knew she couldn't stay in the apartment, not for another minute. Grabbing a small bag of essentials, she fled into the night, seeking refuge in a hotel across town. The hotel room, bright and modern, offered a temporary illusion of safety. But as Amelia lay in bed, the familiar dread crept back, icy tendrils snaking around her heart. She couldn't escape the feeling of being watched, hunted. And then it started. A soft tapping coming from the closet door. Tap, tap, tap. Amelia's blood ran cold. The tapping grew louder, more insistent, accompanied by a low, guttural whisper that sent shivers down her spine. "You can't hide," the whisper hissed. "We found you." Amelia was trapped, her sanctuary transformed into a prison of fear. The haunting had followed her, its grip inescapable. The whispers grew louder, the tapping more frantic. and as darkness enveloped the hotel room, Amelia understood the terrifying truth. She wasn't just haunted, she was hunted.